Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest buzzwords in tech right now, agentic AI. You're hearing about it everywhere, and honestly, the hype can get a little confusing. So let's just cut through the noise and figure out what actually makes these systems the next giant leap for artificial intelligence.
Right. We've all played around with smart chatbots. They can write emails, they can summarize articles, they can even spit out some code. It's impressive for sure. But is that it? Is that the end of the road? Well, the answer to what's next isn't just some small incremental update. It's a huge shift in thinking from an AI that just knows things to an AI that can actually go out and do things. So, before we can really appreciate where AI is headed, we have to get a solid handle on where it is right now. And that starting point, the engine behind pretty much every chatbot you've ever used, is the large language model. You know it as the LLM. At their heart, LLMs are basically incredible text prediction machines. The best way to think about it is like this. Imagine a brilliant intern who has read the entire internet. They have a mind-blowing command of information and can talk and write just like a person. But, and this is a really big but, that intern is locked in a room. No phone, no internet, no access to the outside world. And this slide right here probably sums up all those little frustrations we've had with chatbots. They have zero memory of you from one chat to the next. They can't look up a live flight price or check a company database. They can't actually perform any actions. And maybe most importantly, they have no goals. They just sit there waiting for your next prompt. So, the first big problem to solve was that locked in a room issue. I mean, how do you give that brilliant intern access to what's happening right now? The industry came up with a really clever answer, a technology called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or just RAG. And the difference is just night and day. On the left, you've got your standard LLM, totally stuck with its old isolated training data. But when you add RAG, it's like you're giving that AI a library card to the entire live internet. All of a sudden, it can access external, real-time information, ground its answers in actual facts, and that means it dramatically cuts down on those weird hallucinations we've all heard about. And you really can't overstate this. RAG was a massive breakthrough. It fundamentally solved the knowledge problem. Our AI was no longer just making educated guesses based on old data. It could now pull from the latest, most accurate info out there. And hey, if you're thinking this is some kind of niche, nerdy concept, just look at this number. The market for RAG is projected to hit an absolutely staggering $67 billion by 2034. That's a growth rate of almost 50% a year. This isn't a side project, it's a core part of the modern AI world. Okay, so our AI now has a library card. It can access all the knowledge in the world. That's fantastic. But there's still a huge piece of the puzzle missing. The AI can tell you how to book a flight, but it can't actually buy the ticket for you. It's still just an oracle, not an actor. You see, even with all that knowledge, the system is still fundamentally reactive. It just waits for you to ask a question. It can't make its own decisions, and it has no real autonomy to work towards a goal on its own. And that gap, that is exactly what AI agents were built to fill. This ladder just lays out the evolution perfectly, doesn't it? We started with the basic LLM, which could only handle text. Then we climbed a step by adding RAG to give it knowledge. And now we're at the final game-changing step, the agent layer, which adds that one crucial missing ingredient, autonomy. So what is an AI agent really? Here it is. It's a system that doesn't just sit there processing information. It actively perceives what's going on, it makes decisions about what to do next, and then it takes actions to achieve a specific goal. And it keeps trying. That's the key. Now, this whole idea of agency can feel a little, well, abstract. So let's break it down into a simple, easy-to-remember framework. It turns out there are three core pillars that separate a simple chatbot from a true AI agent. So what's the secret sauce for a true agent? It really comes down to these three things: having a goal, being able to interact with the world, and making its own decisions. Let's dig into what each one of those actually means. First up, goal-directed behavior. This is absolutely fundamental. See, a chatbot's only goal is to answer your immediate question. But an agent gets a much bigger objective, something like plan my entire family vacation to Italy and keep it under a $5,000 budget. That goal becomes the why that drives every single thing it does next. Pillar number 2 is interactive capacity. You can think of this as the how. An agent isn't just trapped inside a chat window, it can connect to the rest of the digital world using tools called APIs. Just think of APIs as little messengers that let different programs talk to each other. This is what lets an agent actually book a flight, check a company's inventory, or fire off an email. It can interact with the digital world just like we do. And that brings us to the final, and frankly, the most powerful pillar, autonomy. Okay, so now the agent has a goal, and it has the tools to interact with the world. This is where it gets interesting. It can now make its own decisions. It can reason, plan, and carry out tasks without you needing to hold its hand every step of the way. This is the real game changer. So you see, when you put these three pillars together, goals, interaction, and autonomy, what you end up with is something fundamentally different from a chatbot. You get a system that makes the leap from being a passive assistant to being an active digital coworker. And the real-world impact is already pretty mind-blowing. Companies that are using agentic AI are seeing an average efficiency boost of 61%, and a full 90% of them are reporting significantly improved workflows. We're not talking about saving a few minutes here and there. We're talking about completely rethinking how work gets done. So to put it all together, agents bring a whole new set of superpowers to the table, right? They can handle complex reasoning, they can stick with a goal over the long term, they can take actions all on their own, plug into countless digital tools, and they can remember what happened in the past to get better over time. And look, this isn't some sci-fi movie stuff that's coming in 10 years. It is happening right now. 81% of business leaders are already moving to adopt agentic AI. And get this, a massive 79% of employees say their companies are already using it. The shift is happening, and it's happening fast. Which, of course, brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. As these systems evolve from being simple tools to autonomous coworkers that can handle really complex jobs, what does that mean for us? Are we about to start collaborating with the ultimate productivity partner? Or are we accidentally building our ultimate competition? That's the big question we're all going to have to answer pretty soon. Thanks for joining us for this explainer. We'll see you on the next one.